Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 Spoilers channel. Self-defense, concealing secrets and rival encounters. According to spoilers for Tuesday, September 30th, there will be some shocking revelations in Genoa City on the young and the restless. One character holds a secret from their loved one. Another character defends their conduct, and two competitors engage in a heated argument. What can we expect from Tuesday's performance? It's time to find out. Diane Abbott versus Nikki Newman. According to Tuesday, September 30th spoilers for the young and the restless, Nikki Newman and Diane Abbott will meet up. Nikki will actually make Diane look foolish. Is it possible that their husbands are working together to defeat Kane Ashby? Can Nikki and Diane put aside their disagreements the way Victor Newman and Jack Abbott have? The secret of Sally Spectra. Sally Spectra will withhold something from Billy Abbott across town. It appears that she will use video chat to communicate with Jill Abbott behind her boyfriend's back. She might explain to the mother bear how Billy risked everything to work with Kane, only to have him dismissed. It appears that this will lead to Jill physically appearing in Genoa City. Will she ultimately support her son and put Kane in his place? Read this. The restless and the young the following 3 weeks will see Sharon and Nick Spear, Noah's Club Chaos, and Victoria chasing Claire to Los Angeles. Tessa Porter justifies her behavior. Finally, Tessa Porter will defend her actions. According to Tuesday's teasers for the young and the restless, Tessa is determined to keep her marriage to Mariah Copeland intact. She is investigating Mariah's hotel narrative in order to find answers. It sounds like Mariah's mother will be uncomfortable with the whole thing, and Tessa will talk to Sharon Newman about it all during the September 30th broadcast. She might be concerned about Tessa's emotional health and safety, but because Daniel is joining her, Tessa might allay her mother-in-law's worries. Holding out, fighting off old habits, difficult situation. Spoilers for Wednesday, October 1's episode of The Young and the Restless suggest that Genoa City will see some dramatic events. One character puts her friend in a difficult situation. Another fights reverting to old patterns, and someone is withholding information. What can we expect from Wednesday's performance? It's time to find out. Information is withheld by Victor Newman. Not surprising, isn't it? According to Wednesday, October 1st spoilers for the young and the restless, Victor Newman will keep his newly formed alliance with Jack Abbott a secret. It will be difficult for either of them to completely trust the other because of the Mustache and Jackie's rivalry, which is among the greatest and longest in the world of daytime drama. But can they really put aside their differences in order to defeat Kane Ashby? Not unless Victor tells his new ally everything. This collaboration might be doomed. Baldwin, Michael reverts to old habits. Michael Baldwin will revert to his former routine across town. This probably has to do with Victor and his employment with the Mustache. Will Newman have a new task for his trusted lawyer? Michael demonstrated his dedication by risking his neck for Victor, even if he was unsuccessful in his attempt to obtain information from Kane. Will Michael accept the challenge? Read this. Spoilers for the young and the restless. Claire and Noah held together in LA as two Newman hostages? Nikki Newman is in a difficult situation. In relation to Michael and the Mustache, Wednesday's teasers for the young and the restless indicate that Lauren Baldwin will put Nikki Newman in a difficult situation. This relates to her concern that Victor might be in danger and her fear that Michael is once more working for him. Will Nikki be able to convince Victor to back off? That's what she might ask. Will Nikki consent to assist Lauren if Victor turns to Michael, possibly in order to include him in the scheme to overthrow Kane as Nikki desires? Jack, Nikki, and Victor require all the assistance possible. Self-defense, concealing secrets, and rival encounters. When Nikki Newman and Diane Abbott happen to cross paths in the Grand Phoenix Hotel lobby, the tension in Genoa City is so high that it almost permeates the walls. Despite years of circling each other in the intricate web of the Newman-Abbott warfare, things are different now. There's a tangible energy. Diane, with her refined grace and unwavering confidence, reflects Nikki's strength, albeit distorted by mutual contempt. Nikki carries herself with the practiced elegance of someone who has endured struggles in both public and private life. The authors of The Young and the Restless appear to recognize that the conflict between these two women is not only a dispute over pride, but rather a symbolic conflict between ideas, families, and histories tainted by survival and treachery. When confronting Diane about her husband Jack's developing relationship with Victor, Nikki uses incisive language and raises the subject of whether Diane's personal allegiances coincide with her husband's newfound tactic. Nikki would say, her voice brimming with ice, "We all know Kane Ashby is a problem, but if you think for a second that I'll sit back and let you play innocent while Jack walks into one of Victor's traps, you're mistaken." Diane's response is just as scathing, sidestepping Nikki's charges by highlighting the hypocrisy of a Newman attempting to expose manipulation in others. In addition to being about Kane, this interaction is a struggle between two women who have come to understand that staying silent indicates fragility and that having the last word frequently confers power. In the end, Nikki puts Diane in her place, not by physical force, but rather by serving as a harsh reminder that, despite Jack and Victor's pretense of erasing decades of hostility, women like them will always be caught in the crossfire of their egos. The writer's refusal to side with Nikki and Diane, even if they have the same goal in mind, is what makes the sequence so brilliant. Their rivalry endures because it has deeper roots than business. It is personal, it has a history, and it is about surviving in a community where one person's treachery is another's chance. Though it is as important to the ongoing chess match in Genoa City, Sally Spectra's storyline is developing in a more subdued manner across town. With her fierce independence and ability to balance vulnerability and ambition, Sally harbors a secret that she knows might either strengthen or weaken her bond with Billy Abbott. Sally makes a secret video call to Billy's strong mother, Jill Abbott, rather than telling her spouse. The act's secrecy and the way she tilts her phone's camera out of Billy's line of sight highlight how shaky their relationship's trust is right now. Sally tells Jill about Billy's rash decision to side with Kane, a man who has rejected Billy's attempts to be a good neighbor. Sally's motivation is especially intriguing in this case. Is she genuinely worried about Billy's welfare? Or is she trying to gain favor with Jill in order to secure her position in the Abbott family hierarchy in the event that things fall apart? Ever the watchful matriarch, Jill's reaction of simmering indignation just makes Sally feel more guilty for going over Billy's back. Sally is unable to stop herself, though. Fans are aware that this covert communication will probably result in Jill's actual return to Genoa City, and in typical Y&R form, the secret becomes the catalyst for something greater. Sally might have just pulled the gun on a dramatic re-entry, but Jill has always had the special ability to shake up corporate rivalry while also disciplining her kid. The spectator is left with the intriguing question: would Billy's battle against Kane be strengthened by Jill's presence, or will his already shaky connection with Sally be further strained when he finds out about her betrayal? While Sally struggles with secrets and Nikki and Diane engage in verbal sparring, another lady in Genoa City battles for something far more intimate: the continuation of her marriage. In this episode, Tessa Porter's journey is one of emotional self-defense, rebellion, and conviction. Despite being based on tenacity, her marriage to Mariah Copeland is currently teetering under the weight of mistrust and distance. Motivated by a persistent sense that something is amiss, Tessa has decided to investigate Mariah's most recent hotel stay. The eternal soap opera theme of love versus distrust is woven throughout this plot, which makes it particularly tragic. When does defending one's marriage become an infringement on one's privacy? When Tessa turns to Mariah's mother, Sharon Newman, for advice in this situation, Sharon becomes immediately uncomfortable. Having navigated her own turbulent relationships for her whole life, Sharon understands the peril in Tessa's resolve. Sharon believes that Tessa's detective work is more an expression of dread than love. But Tessa resists. She maintains that protecting her marriage occasionally necessitates taking difficult action. displaying the steeliness that has characterized her career as a performer. She proclaims, "I will not allow Mariah to leave without a fight." In this already complex triangle, Daniel's involvement adds a layer by establishing him as a possible source of tension as well as a support system. Fans are aware that the issues raised by Sharon's anxieties, Tessa's determination, and Mariah's quiet won't go unanswered for very long. Holding out, fighting off old habits, difficult situation. In Genoa City, Victor Newman's shadow is more prominent than ever the next day. Once again, the man who has used secrecy as a tool to build an empire demonstrates that he cannot help but keep back even when he looks for allies. Fundamentally, his association with Jack Abbott is one of necessity rather than trust. The concept of Victor and Jack cooperating feels like history being rewritten after decades of playing rivals in the ultimate soap opera power war. However, Victor is keeping his cards close to the vest, as indicated by Wednesday's spoilers, because he feels that trust is weakness and information is leverage. He keeps important details about his plans against Kane hidden. This deceit is exciting to the spectator because it foreshadows the inevitable betrayal. Fans are left wondering if Jack will become angry or use the intelligence to outmaneuver the mustache after learning of Victor's omissions. In any case, this secrecy lays the groundwork for their tenuous ceasefire to shatter. Naturally, the irony is that Kane might be able to defeat them without having to do so because of their mutual lack of trust. The writers use Michael Baldwin's arc to remind viewers of how circular soap opera life can be when he reverts to his old behaviors. Michael and Victor have always had a grudgingly loyal relationship that is based on a mix of ambition, fear, and the excitement of being close to authority. Despite recent setbacks, such as his incapacity to elicit valuable information from Kane, Michael demonstrates once more that he is prepared to follow Victor's lead. But his reasons are still unclear. Does Michael's behavior stem from his addiction to the rush of corporate espionage, his fear of being irrelevant, or his loyalty? This relapse will be intriguing, if not irritating, to viewers who have followed Michael's transformation from a cunning plotter to a redeemed family guy. He runs the danger of upsetting Lauren, who has supported him through innumerable difficulties, the more he aligns himself with Victor. For his part, Victor almost seems to enjoy taking advantage of Michael's vulnerability by leaving him with dangerous but ego-boosting assignments. This narrative beat explores how quickly people in Genoa City fall back on their old habits when they're seduced by power, not simply Michael's decisions. However, Nikki Newman's moral quandary, being torn between her relationship with Lauren and her allegiance to her husband, is at the center of Wednesday's episode. Fearing that Michael's newfound relationship with Victor could cost him dearly, Lauren approaches Nikki with increasing worry. Lauren begs Nikki to step in and persuade Victor to release Michael before he is pulled too far. This places Nikki in a precarious situation. On the one hand, she worries about Michael's safety and feels sorry for Lauren. However, she is aware that Victor cannot win the battle against Kane by himself, and Michael's intervention could make the difference. The hardships of innumerable women in Genoa City who have had to juggle the demands of friendship, love, and survival in a world ruled by strong men are reflected in Nikki's internal conflict. The scenario is captivating because it deconstructs Nikki into her most basic self. Is she a friend who can confront Victor in support of someone else's husband? Or is she first and foremost a wife who is prepared to submit to his manipulations at any cost? Fans are left wondering whether Nikki made the right decision or just settled for what she could live with after the authors deftly intertwine her silence, uncertainty, and eventual reaction to Lauren's request. In summary, the scene is set. The September 30th and October 1st episodes combined weave a web of rivalries, treachery, and difficult decisions. Victor's secrecy erodes his alliance with Jack, Michael's regression threatens his marriage, Nikki's tough position forces her to reconcile love and loyalty, Tessa's defiance intensifies her marital crisis, Sally's secret lays the foundation for Jill's dramatic return, and Nikki and Diane's conflict sets the stage for the ongoing Newman-Abbott war. These storylines are brilliant because they are intertwined, with each thread drawing the others closer until Genoa City seems to be about to collapse. Character-driven, multi-layered, and unrelentingly unpredictable. This is The Young and the Restless at its best. Which plot point in Tuesday's program are you most excited about? Leave a comment below. For the finest Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and updates, watch the CBS serial opera every day and visit SOS frequently.